All right, point of view. I'm your travel agent and you're looking to travel. And I tell you, you should consider travel insurance. And you're like, what is travel insurance? Well, let's talk about it. Hey everyone, it's Troy from floatfreely.com here, and today we're talking about travel insurance. There's about 5 main points that I want to go over because travel insurance was a relatively new concept to me as well. But after looking into it, after doing some research on it, and after using it once, I was like, this is pretty interesting. I always thought it was a scam. Either way, let's get right into it. So first off, what is travel insurance? Just like most insurance, if not all insurance, it covers financial risks and losses. And in this case, it covers those risks and losses when it comes to traveling. So very straightforward, it's insurance to cover your trips. So what are some examples? So the biggest one and the most prominent one, and probably the biggest reason why I would recommend it, if there's a last minute cancellation, whether it be to health risks, whether it be to natural disasters, and there's even some travel insurances that you can buy to where no matter what the reason for cancellation is, you get completely refunded for that trip. And really the key takeaway from travel insurance is that if your trip gets canceled for practically any reason, you get refunded for that trip. Now, of course, there are stipulations that vary from company to company, from policy to policy. So of course, read everything thoroughly. Make sure you know exactly what's covered if you do decide to go the travel insurance route, because with all insurance, it can get sketchy and they can start trying to pull some quick things on you. So make sure you read between the lines. Make sure it's in writing, black and white, and you got a copy for yourself. Another example of a covered event that I thought was pretty cool is that if your suitcase gets delayed, if it gets lost and redirected, rerouted, and it's gonna take a couple days to get to you, travel insurance will pay you an agreed upon amount of money every day that your suitcase is delayed, which can really come in handy if you had a lot of stuff in that suitcase that you needed, whether it be outfits, hygiene products, some easily replaceable work equipment, whatever was in your suitcase. Fact of the matter is, it's delayed. You're not gonna have it for a couple days potentially. So that travel insurance is gonna pay you every single day it's delayed so that you can recuperate some of those things that you need but are still waiting on. So you're saying to yourself, wow, travel insurance sounds pretty cool so far, but surely this is gonna be expensive. And honestly, it's really not that much for potentially what you get out of it. So to give you an average, you're looking between 4 and 10% of your trip cost, and that's how much it's gonna cost you to insure your trip. So let's say if you have a trip for $5,000, your trip costs $5,000 flat out. To purchase travel insurance, you're gonna be looking to pay between a little over $200, upwards of $500 on average. Now you gotta weigh the risk versus the reward. Do you wanna pay another couple $100 for the slight chance that your trip is gonna be outright canceled or something's gonna come up that outright destroys your plans? Because if so, that $500, that's not very much when it comes to getting your $5,000 back. So it's a choice you gotta make. You know, if you're willing to lose however much you spent on the trip and you don't feel like paying an extra couple $100, yeah, then you probably don't need travel insurance. But that's a discussion you gotta have with yourself and with whoever's going on a trip with you. So is it worth it? In my opinion, I'd say yes, it is worth it. There are a lot of good reputable companies out there that offer travel insurance. We'll get into that here in a second. But when it comes to unforeseen events, because you never know what the future is gonna hold, everything can be sunshine and rainbows right now while you're booking your trip. But a couple months from now when it's time to go, hey, you never know what could pop up. Look at coronavirus. I had some family members that had a trip planned. Luckily, smartly, they got travel insurance, completely covered the whole trip. They had to cancel due to coronavirus, completely covered. They got all that money back. Obviously, they weren't expecting a global pandemic to break out, but it did, and then they were covered. So it worked out. They mitigated a big loss there. And one of my favorite sayings is it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Especially if you're taking a trip, let's say your total trip's $1,500, that 4 and 10%, I mean, max you're gonna be paying $150 for travel insurance. That's really not that much for potentially saving yourself being out $1,500. So I think it's worth it. Again, that's a decision up to you guys if you wanna go that route, but I'd at least look into it. Which brings me to my final question. Where do you get it? A quick Google search brings up a lot of results. I'm gonna link to an article written by The Balance down in the description below. You can read through there. They do a good review of various companies, but 2 that I've seen mentioned a lot of times are World Nomads and Alliance Travels. A lot of travel bloggers are sponsored by travel insurance companies, so if your favorite blogger is sponsored by a travel insurance company, you know, I'd look into whatever company they were sponsored by. I'm not sponsored by travel insurance. I'm just making this video strictly for educational purposes. But if you could potentially help out another blogger, because if you get your policy through their affiliate link, then they make a little, you know, sliver of money while you also get covered for no extra cost. aside from what the travel insurance itself costs. So overall, that's all I really have for you. Pretty much boils down to yes, travel insurance can be a really great deal. I'd recommend doing some research into it if it's something that interests you. And other than that, about it. If you guys enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you went down, subscribed, hit that bell icon so you get notifications whenever I upload, as well as leaving a like and sharing this video with friends, especially friends that potentially could benefit from travel insurance. And with that being said, thank you guys for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.